Well, what have you thought of your group? 10 practices in, newer group, younger guys coming up. What's that dynamic right now?
Yeah, it's been good. Been a challenge going up against the offense. They're constantly getting better, and we got some young guys that are getting in there, getting some experience. But it's been a good challenge. These 10 practices that we've had, the first scrimmage, getting multiple guys reps and different looks at different positions, trying to see where the best fit is. But it's been good. It's been positive. We're just continuously getting better and better each day.
I'm going to ask about Alex and Jeremiah. Just the next step for them, like how have they grown in this spring so far that you've seen?
Yeah. So for the next steps for them is to show that we can depend on those guys to come out and compete and play an entire game. And so, part of the way we prepare and practice is tough. And so mentally to show up every day, physically and mentally with the same attitude, same technique, and being physical, whether you're getting a one-on-one block or a combo block. So for guys like Alex and Jeremiah, they've embraced that role, that opportunity. And the opportunity, the chance to rep those guys with the ones and the twos has been good for them, and also for them to go up against, guys that have played the opposing offensive line that have played in this conference. So to measure up against those guys and make plays and produce has been good. To see them these 10 practices, and so the plan is to get those guys ready to play for us and play a significant amount.
Folks in the transfers, obviously, but how important are those guys, and what do each of them bring?
Yeah. Each and every one of those guys bring a different skill set. Anthony Johnson, he has tremendous amount of quickness in the inside, especially in the run game. He can bend, he can engage on the block and hold the point, but he can also be slippery and get in and find his way in the backfield. Pass rush wise, he's developed a spin move that he's had, and that's not something we've had here, but it's pretty effective. It's been fun to watch. But like I said, a lot of different skill sets they bring to the table. Dennis Briggs, with his length and ability to play on the edge of the field, similar to Keith Randolph. We've played him inside as well, so trying to show some versatility with him. He's got a high football IQ. He's played a lot of football, and so he's a guy that can take the meaty room to the field, maybe without a walkthrough. He's just very sharp, and the IQ is high. So along with his skill set, along with his IQ, he can help us any situation of the game. With Anichi Sledge, he's very similar to Denzel Daxon with his body control, his ability to bend and play with tremendous strength in the inside. As you know, Jeremy, that's a key position for us, especially in the inside at the nose position to take on combo blocks. But he has that mental toughness to consistently do that. Day in, day out. So it's been fun to see those new guys come in and compete.
Jimmy, what's it been like to work with the two new linebacker coaches and just understand the continuity of what you guys try to do up front is all a unit?
Yeah, it's been great. Both Coach McDaniel and Coach Centum, they bring a tremendous amount of experience from their playing time and also their long coaching career as well. With Coach Coach McDaniel, he brings a tremendous amount of experience with linebacker play and getting our young guys that haven't had as much experience. We're seeing those guys tremendously getting better each and every day in practice. Coach Centum, he's taken on a very talented outside backer room, and they haven't missed a beat. Just really carrying a torch moving forward, and they're constantly producing in practice, and it's carrying over to the scrimmages as well. So it's been fun to watch those guys.
How does a spring look? Not only without Johnny and Keith, but without a lot of experienced guys in your room. How do you handle that as you're now 10 practices in and have 5 more to go?
Yeah, so not having guys that have played and started 3 years in a row
sure.
is new, is fresh, but to have guys that have played football, college football, where you've got Dennis Briggs and you got Anthony Johnson and Alex Bray was a guy that mixed in a lot for us last year. So we've got guys like T.Roy Edwards that are familiar with the scheme, and also the way we practice and prepare. So those things aren't new for them. And at this point, with 10 practices in, and I know it's fair to say that those guys are new, but we're all here now, and it's been good to get these guys some reps in different situations, and that's the way we prepare our guys with situational football, and to get get those guys familiar with the area of the field, the situation of down and distance, and so each and every day we get out there and practice. Those guys are getting more and more comfortable, but at the same time, it's getting more and more challenging with the looks we get from the offense. So it's been good to stress them, but also good to adapt them in our program.
Coach, a couple of second-year players look like they've taken a little bit of a leap here in the spring. Alex Bray, who you mentioned, and Jeremiah Warren. What have you seen from those guys, and how'd their offseason go for them?
Yeah, Alex Bray, he put on a good amount of weight, so he's in the 270s, close to 280. But both of those guys had significant reps in the scrimmage this past Saturday and showed some improvement. Jeremiah was very productive, got in the backfield a couple times to produce behind the line of scrimmage, and also just holding the point, playing with extension, being patient, and taking his opportunities when they come to him. Alex Bray having disciplined rush lanes, affecting the pocket that way in pass rush, but also helping us on early downs in terms of stopping the run too. So both of those guys, the more reps they get, the more comfortable they get, and they're able to use their skill set to help this defense. They played a lot of football for us at this point, and so they know the defense, and so it's been fun to see those guys, and whether we play multiple fronts, they can do it all.
Bray looks like a quick twitch guy. Do you think has he added enough of bulk, you think, to be an every down player in the Big Ten?
Yeah, for sure. He's a guy that has the frame. He's going to continuously add weight. Last year he traveled with us every week, so he wasn't part of that developmental lift. And so we haven't even scratched the surface in terms of how his body is going to continue to develop, but it's moving in the right direction. But on top of that, he's a tough football player. He was a wrestler through high school, so he loves contact. He doesn't shy away. My mind goes right to a double team. He truly demolished an inside run drill, but he continues to do things like that for us, and more reps and chances he gets in practice, the more opportunities he's going to continuously shine that way.
When you are those two guys, those second-year guys for your rotation this year?
It's very important because those are guys that may not have played much in the past season, but they've been around our system. They know the communication, they know the calls, and so to have guys like that are competing and practicing at a high level, it helps the young guys, the true freshmen that come in, and it also helps the older guys, the transfer that come in, to kind of see how we practice, to set the expectation, but also to compete for that starting role as well. And so to have a group of solid 6 guys that we can see playing, rotating, and keeping fresh in the game is something to look forward to. And it's been a good environment for that in terms of the football one-on-one and just the stresses of competing at the high level versus our offensive line and offense in general.
Jim, when you look at your track record of what you were able to do with, at the nose tackle position with Calvin Avery's senior year, Denzel Jackson's, time here, what are you looking for in that position, specifically when you go out in the portal and get a sledge? And then what technique are you looking for guys that can come in and be an impact player?
Yeah, we want guys that create contact and not avoid contact at that position. We want guys that that can have the ability, the skill set to bend and change direction. Body control. Typically, those guys are bigger guys, a lot of body mass. Obviously, we want strength, but we want guys that have that contact balance when they bend. They're playing with independent footwork. When they're taking on double teams, they can extend and control their block, but also take on a double team and still split it with good body control. So we're looking for size, for strength, but also the ability to bend and change direction.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but for somebody like T-Raw, it's been a transition for him to kind of learn that position as he got here. Have you been pleased with the incremental development you've seen out of him as time has gone on?
Yeah, that's a great point. With T-Raw, he originally came from a predominantly 4-down structure.
Right.
But what intrigued us was the clips we saw of T-Raw was practice film of him repping our defense. So we saw him at a nose position, and that's what caught our eye. And so that transition was good for him because he actually enjoyed doing that at that time, and so to get him in our system and now being another year in our program, and having to rep him, and he's producing games in Big Ten games, confidence is continuously going through the roof, and he's produced for us this spring, and we just want that to continue to move forward to the season. to have a good year this year.
Coach, last year you had Coach Henry got to celebrate with the draft with all those guys getting picked. This year looks like your turn. Are you excited about the draft for the guys you've been coaching with, working with all these years?
I appreciate the question. That's a win for Illinois. You know,
Right.
Coach B does the tremendous job of leading our program and helping our guys be in a healthy environment where they can develop their bodies, they can develop their minds spiritually, and obviously their skill set on the field. So all that stuff translates to success on the field and success beyond here. And you know, I'm truly blessed to have coached the young men that I've coached. And they're going to do great things moving forward. So I'm excited about what's in store for those guys. But certainly, it's a win for our Illini football family and the fans.
When their names get called, is there? I'm certain there's a sense of pride for you, right? When you hear Johnny's name go or Keith. I mean, what's that going to feel like for you?
Yeah, I'm proud of those guys. You know, whenever their name is called, I've been proud of those guys since day one. I tell the guys I'm coaching now, I'm proud of them even after a bad practice, good play, bad play, next play. You know,
Sure.
So I'm excited about those guys. You know, another thing that I typically say is the greatest test of the heart is the praise of the people. So, you know, one time they'll be cheering, the next time they'll be saying, "Hey, get them out of here." So, but anyways, no, I'm excited about what's in store for those guys, and also I'm excited about continuously coaching these guys I got in front of me.
That helps your room, right? When you have guys drafted, it's got to be the younger guys got to look at that and say, "Hey, that's me." You know, is that right or not?
Oh yeah, it's the standard. You know,
Yeah.
it's the standard is set. You go in a D-line room right now, you look on the wall, you're going to see Whitney Merciless, you're going to see Mo Gardner, you're going to see Corey Legit. You know, you're going to see those guys on the wall, and so you come to University of Illinois, you want to make those guys proud, right? You see Sidney Rice, you want to continuously carry the torch, so to speak.
Sure.
And now you're going to have Keith and Johnny on that wall, and so to have those guys walk these hallways and eat this training table and lift these weights, you know, it makes a young guy that's coming in there, we're recruiting to see, hey, I can do the same thing, maybe greater things in store.
And you'll welcome those guys back, I know, and they come back, don't they? And that's after they're playing the NFL, they seem to come back here and hang out when they can.
Oh yeah. We in fact, they were a couple of guys came back this past Saturday for scrimmage one. Yeah, they were watching the game, the practice, and I heard their voices. So it felt like they were in practice. So I wanted to give them some jerseys and pads and throw them in there. But no, it's good to have those guys back and have them in the facility, and they're always welcome.
Last
when you
thing,
go-
I one more guy.
Go ahead.
The big personalities of those two guys, is that hard to replace? Johnny and Keith seem to be kind of otherworldly type guys. Is that hard to replace, or is that easy?
Well, personality-wise, I don't want to necessarily replace them, and I want all our guys to be themselves.
Okay.
You know, and you know, we got some special guys, some guys from different backgrounds, and they all bring their gifts and talents, and we welcome them all. We just don't affirm every practice.
When you go to the portal, you're hoping to get an alpha, a playmaker type of guy. Has Anthony Johnson been that guy? Have you seen him step up in practice?
All those guys are alphas. Everybody we bring in are alphas now. So, no, all those guys are special.
JMO, you briefly mentioned it, but even when in front you had of Johnny, Keith, and Denzel, you made it a point last year to play an Alex Bray, to play a Jeremiah Warren last year. Are you seeing the fruits of that labor this spring and their development and getting something out of that experience?
Yeah, great question. You know, it certainly knocks the butterflies out, right? You put them in a moment when it's 60+ thousand and in his third down, and Alex Bray's in there versus Wisconsin, and he defends his gap and he makes a tackle. You know, in that heat of the moment, you know, that starts to boost some energy in that guy. You know, some confidence. And so any time we can put young guys in those situations, guys that we trust, we depend on, that they've earned that. Like a guy like Alex Bray and Jeremiah, they've earned those opportunities. And to be able to reward them with those moments and see them have success is special. It's why we coach, why I coach.